Welcome to an amazing story that will inspire you and help improve your English skills. The shocking reality of North Korea. North Korea is one of the most secretive and controlled countries in the world. Imagine living in a place where you cannot wear the clothes you want, listen to the music you like, or even speak freely. In North Korea, if you say one wrong word, you could disappear forever. If you do not cry at the leader's funeral, you could be sent to prison. If you try to leave the country, your whole family could be punished. This is the terrifying reality of life in North Korea. From the moment you are born, your life is controlled by the government. The first thing that is decided for you is your songbun. Songbun is a ranking system that controls your entire life. If your family is close to the government and considered loyal, you get a high songbun. This means you can live in a good city, go to a better school, and have a better job. But if your family has a low songbun, you will suffer for your entire life. You will never be allowed to go to a good university. You will only get the worst jobs, and you will be treated like a criminal even if you did nothing wrong. The most shocking part is that your songbun is decided based on what your ancestors did, not what you did. If your grandfather was a soldier who fought for North Korea, you might get a good life. But if your grandfather was a businessman, a farmer, or if he ever said anything against the government, your entire family will be punished, even if you were not born at that time. There is no way to change your songbun, no matter how hard you work. In North Korea, even your clothing is controlled by the government. Women must wear skirts that cover their knees. They are not allowed to wear jeans, short skirts, or tight clothes. If a woman is caught wearing a tight dress, she can be punished. Makeup is also restricted. Women are not allowed to wear red lipstick because the government says it is a Western influence. There are only 50 approved haircuts for men and women. You cannot have any other style. If a man tries to grow his hair longer than the approved length, he will be stopped by the police. If a woman dyes her hair, she will be punished. One woman was caught wearing tight pants in the capital city. She was immediately arrested and sent to a re-education camp, where she had to do hard labor for months. Her crime? Wearing clothes that were too modern. Food is one of the most basic human needs, but in North Korea, it is strictly controlled by the government. Every family receives a fixed amount of food every month, called a ration. The amount of food you get depends on your songbun. If you have a high songbun, you might get rice, eggs, and some vegetables. But if you have a low songbun, you will only get corn and cabbage. Meat is a luxury that most North Koreans can never afford. One man who escaped from North Korea said that when he was a child, his family received only 3 kg of rice per month. This was not enough to survive, so they had to mix it with grass and tree bark to make it last longer. There is a black market where people secretly buy and sell food, but if you are caught, you can be sent to prison or worse. In most countries, people are free to think what they want. They can criticize their leaders, read different books, and watch whatever movies they like. But in North Korea, your thoughts are controlled from birth. From the time you are a child, you are taught that the leader of the country is like a god. You are forced to memorize his speeches. Every house has a radio that cannot be turned off, which plays government messages all day long. All books, TV shows, and movies are controlled. There is no internet. You cannot read news from other countries. If you are caught watching a foreign movie, you can be executed. One teenager was caught watching a South Korean drama. What happened to him? He was killed in front of 10,000 people. His parents were sent to a prison camp for 15 years. Can you believe that? Being killed just for watching a TV show. In North Korea, there are secret police everywhere. Your neighbors, your coworkers, even your family members might report you. If someone reports you for saying something bad about the government, you can disappear overnight.
People whisper even inside their own homes because they are afraid that the government might be listening.
One woman saw her neighbor taken away in the middle of the night. He was never seen again. His crime? Telling a joke about the leader. In every North Korean home, there must be two framed portraits hanging on the wall, one of Kim Il-sung, the founder of North Korea, and one of Kim Jong-il, his son who ruled after him. These portraits must be in perfect condition at all times. You are not allowed to decorate them. You cannot put any other pictures on the same wall. Every morning, families must clean these portraits carefully. The government even sends inspectors to check if the portraits are clean. If there is a fire in your home, your first duty is not to save your family. Your first duty is to save these portraits. There was a terrible fire in one family's home. The father ran to save his little daughter, but he forgot to take the portraits first. The next day, the government arrested him. His crime? Not protecting the leader's pictures. North Koreans work long hours every single day, but do they earn enough to live? No. The average monthly salary in North Korea is just 3 to 5 USD. Yes, you heard that right. 3 to 5 per month. This is not enough to buy food for even 1 week. People survive by secretly working in black markets, illegal markets where they can buy and sell food, clothes, and goods. But if they are caught, they can lose everything: their food, their money, even their freedom. One man worked extra hours in a factory and saved some money. He used this money to buy rice from a black market. But when he was caught, the police took all his money and sent him to a labor camp. North Korea has prison camps where people are sent if they break the rules, even if they committed a tiny crime. But these prisons are worse than any nightmare. Prisoners are given almost no food. They only get a few grains of rice and some dirty soup every day. This is not enough to survive, so what do? They catch rats, frogs, and insects to eat. Some even eat grass and tree bark just to stay alive. One former prisoner said that he saw people fighting over a single dead rat because they had nothing else to eat. Another prisoner was caught trying to eat grass. The guards punished him by beating him so badly that he almost died. North Korea has a population of around 26 million people, but more than 40 of them do not have enough food. In the 1990s, there was a huge famine in North Korea. Millions of people died of hunger because the government refused to give them food. Parents were forced to watch their own children starve to death. But at the same time, the government was spending billions of dollars on weapons, luxury goods, and grand buildings. Kim Jong-un, the current leader, has a private island, luxury cars, and even his own personal movie theater, while his people are starving. One man who escaped from North Korea said, "The leader eats steak and drinks expensive wine, while children in my village were eating grass and dying on the streets." Can you believe that? A leader living in extreme luxury while millions of people starve. In most countries, if you want to visit another city, you just buy a bus or train ticket and go. But in North Korea, you cannot travel freely. You need permission from the government to go from one city to another. And leaving the country? Impossible. The borders are heavily guarded. If you try to escape, you will be killed. One woman tried to escape with her little son. She paid smugglers to help her cross the river into China. But before she could escape, the guards caught her. She was killed in front of a crowd. Her son was sent to a prison camp. In most countries, if you break the law, only you will be punished. But in North Korea, your entire family will suffer. This is called 3 generations of punishment. If you commit a crime, the government will not only punish you, they will also punish your parents, your siblings, and even your children. One man was caught listening to foreign music. He was sent to a prison camp for 20 years. But his parents and younger brother were also sent to prison, just because they were related to him. Another man escaped to South Korea. When the government found out, they arrested his entire family, even his grandmother. Can you imagine that? Your family suffering for something you did. They control the internet, TV, and books. In most countries, people can watch movies, listen to music, and read books from all over the world. But in North Korea, the government controls everything. There is no real internet. People cannot use Google, YouTube, or social media. They can only see government-approved websites. TV channels, only government channels that show propaganda all day long. Books, only government-approved books. Reading foreign books is illegal. One young man was caught with a South Korean music video on his USB drive. His punishment? Death. So far, you have learned shocking truths about North Korea. How people live in fear, how they work for almost nothing, how prisoners eat rats to survive, and how the leader controls everything. But what you are about to hear now is even worse. Now, I will expose the horrifying punishments in labor camps, how public executions are used to spread fear, the lies and propaganda that brainwash the people, how the leader makes people believe he is a god, and the terrifying truth about what happens to those who speak against the government. This is the darkest part of the story. Imagine this: you are caught listening to a foreign song. The police arrest you and take you to a prison camp. There is no trial, no lawyer, no one to help you. You simply disappear. North Korea has many prison camps, but one of the worst is Camp 14. People who go in never come out. Prisoners wake up at 500 a.m. and work until midnight. If they move too slowly, they are beaten with sticks. They are given one small meal per day, a little corn and dirty water. If they want more food, they must catch rats, frogs, or insects. One former prisoner, Shin Dong-kuk, was born inside Camp 14. He never knew that a world outside existed. His parents were prisoners, and the guards forced them to marry inside the camp. Shin was forced to watch public executions from a young age. One day, he saw his own mother and brother being executed. Why? Because they planned to escape. The guards forced Shin to watch. This was his punishment, seeing his own family die. Shin finally escaped, but he is one of the few lucky ones. Most people in labor camps die of hunger, sickness, or torture. In North Korea, you don't just go to prison. Sometimes, you are executed in front of a crowd. Public executions are a way to control people through fear. The government forces citizens to watch as people are killed for breaking the rules. What kind of crimes can get you executed? Watching a foreign movie, owning a Bible, trying to escape the country, speaking badly about the leader. One woman was executed just for distributing Bibles. The message is clear: if you disobey, you die. You might be wondering, why don't the people fight back? Why don't they try to escape? The answer is propaganda. The North Korean government controls all information. They decide what people can see, hear, and believe. From the moment a child is born, they are taught North Korea is the greatest country in the world, the leader is a god. The world is dangerous, and only North Korea can protect them. People cannot access real news. They have no internet, no foreign books, no outside information. TV shows and school lessons show fake stories about other countries. They say that people in the US, South Korea, and Europe live like slaves and have no food, no homes, and no happiness. The government even stages fake stores and fake cities to show to foreign visitors. Everything is a lie. And the biggest lie of all? North Koreans are taught that their leader, Kim Jong-un, is a god. The government tells fake stories about him to make people worship him. For example, they say that Kim Jong-il, his father, never needed to use the toilet because his body was so perfect. Kim Jong-un can control the weather with his emotions. When Kim Il-sung, the first leader, was born, a new star appeared in the sky. People are forced to bow to his statues and cry when they see him. If someone doesn't show enough emotion, they can be punished or even executed. Once, a man was caught falling asleep during a speech by Kim Jong-un. He was taken away and never seen again. Kim Jong-un does not even trust his own family. In 2017, his half-brother, Kim Jong-nam, was assassinated in Malaysia. He was poisoned in an airport, killed on his brother's orders. Why? Because Kim Jong-nam had spoken against the North Korean government. Kim Jong-un also executed his own uncle, Jang Song-thaek. His crime? Not showing enough respect to the leader. But the most shocking part, Kim Jong-un forced his own family members to watch the execution. In most countries, people can criticize their leaders. But in North Korea, if you speak against the leader, you disappear. One man whispered to his friend, "Kim Jong-un is not a good leader." A few days later, the police came to his house. He was never seen again. Another woman was caught listening to South Korean radio. The next morning, she and her entire family were taken away. Some people are killed immediately. Others are sent to labor camps, where they are beaten, tortured, and starved until they die. This is why no one dares to speak the truth. People live in fear every second of their lives. You have now learned about the horrors inside North Korea. How people live in fear every single day. How labor camps work people to death. How the leader controls every part of life. Even thoughts, how public executions keep people terrified. How Kim Jong-un pretends to be a god, and even kills his own family. But now, I will reveal the most dangerous and shocking truths. The secret tunnels and underground networks helping people escape, what the world is doing. And why some countries don't want North Korea to change. And the biggest secret that North Korea is hiding from the world. This is going to be a dangerous part of the story. I already told you that in most countries, if you don't like your government, you can move to another place. But in North Korea, leaving the country is illegal. If someone is caught trying to escape, they are publicly executed to set an example, sent to a labor camp for life, where they slowly die from hunger and torture, or their entire family is punished, parents, siblings, children, because the government believes in guilt by association. Despite these risks, some people still try to escape. But how? To the south is South Korea, but there is a heavily guarded border called the DMZ, Demilitarized Zone. It is the most dangerous border in the world, full of landmines, barbed wire, and soldiers with guns. To the north is China, but the rivers are frozen in winter, and border guards are trained to shoot anyone trying to cross. The only option is to cross into China illegally, then find a way to reach South Korea or another safe country. But escaping is not as easy as crossing a river. If someone is caught escaping, they are not just punished, they are tortured in the worst ways possible. Some defectors, people who escaped, were caught and sent back to North Korea. They describe the horrific things they suffered, being beaten with metal rods until their bones broke, having fingernails pulled out with pliers, being forced to kneel on sharp stones for hours. Women who were pregnant were forced to have abortions, especially if the baby's father was Chinese. One woman, Park Yomi, managed to escape as a teenager. But she later found out that her friend was caught and executed in front of her family. Despite these dangers, there are people who risk their lives to help North Koreans escape. There is a secret underground network, similar to the Underground Railroad, that helps slaves escape in America. This network helps North Koreans cross into China, travel through safe routes, and reach South Korea or other countries. That's why escape routes are top secret. Even if someone gets help, they can never fully trust anyone. Some make it out alive. Others disappear forever. Believe it or not, there are secret groups inside North Korea that are trying to fight against the government. How? By smuggling outside information into the country. USB drives filled with movies and news are secretly passed between people. Radios are hidden in walls so people can hear the truth from South Korea. Fake money and documents are used to bribe officials. Some groups in South Korea send balloons filled with leaflets, and money over the border into North Korea. The government hates this because if people learn the truth, they will no longer obey. That's why people caught with foreign information are executed. This is why North Korea is so dangerous. The leaders know that if the people wake up, the dictatorship will end. Many people ask, why doesn't the world help North Korea? Why don't countries try to stop this? The truth is complicated. Some countries want North Korea to change, but others benefit from its existence. China secretly supports North Korea because it wants a buffer between itself and the isolated South Korea. Russia also trades with North Korea to avoid US sanctions. Some powerful nations use North Korea as an excuse for military spending. Even though many human rights groups are fighting to expose the truth, governments are careful not to start a war. This is why North Korea remains a prison for 26 million people. There is one final secret tone that North Korea never wants the world to know. Despite all the control, despite all the fear, people inside North Korea are waking up. More and more are secretly listening to foreign radio. More and more are risking their lives to escape. More and more are losing their fear of the leader. One day, the people may rise up and end the dictatorship. And when that happens, the world will finally see the full truth. The suffering, the lies, the horror, and the incredible bravery of those who fought for freedom. The North Korean government is afraid of only one thing: the people realizing the truth. Because when people stop believing the lies, the dictatorship will fall. Now you know the full truth. North Korea is not just a country, it is a massive prison. The people live in fear, but some are secretly fighting back. The world is watching, but politics prevent real change. And the biggest secret? The people are starting to wake up. This is one of the most shocking and heartbreaking stories in the world. But the story is not over yet. Because as long as one person fights back, the dream of freedom is still alive. And one day, the walls of this prison will fall. If you found this shocking, powerful, and eye-opening, make sure to share this with others so the truth can be heard. Because the more people know, the harder it will be to keep this hidden. If you are watching this video right now, you are lucky. You can go outside without fear. You can choose what to wear, what to eat, and what to say. You can watch any movie, read any book, and use the internet freely. You can travel, work, and live the life you want. North Koreans don't have these rights. So the next time you feel frustrated with your life, remember how lucky you are. Appreciate the freedom you have, because millions of people are still dreaming of it. The history of North Korea's dictatorship. North Korea's dictatorship began in 1948, after World War II. Korea was divided into two parts, the North controlled by the Soviet Union, and the South controlled by the United States. The division was supposed to be temporary, but it became permanent. In the North, Kim Il-sung became the leader. He established the Korean Workers' Party and built a government based on communist ideology. Kim Il-sung's rule was marked by strict control over the people. He created a personality cult where he was worshipped as the great leader. He built large statues of himself and forced people to show loyalty to him. He also implemented a planned economy where the government controlled all industries and farms. This system was supposed to make North Korea self-reliant, but it led to economic struggles and food shortages. In 1950, Kim Il-sung launched an invasion of South Korea, starting the Korean War. The war lasted 3 years and caused millions of deaths. In 1953, it ended with a ceasefire, but North and South Korea remained divided. The war helped Kim Il-sung consolidate his power and create a strong military state. After the war, Kim Il-sung focused on rebuilding North Korea. He introduced the idea of juche, or self-reliance, which became the guiding principle of North Korea. Under his rule, the government controlled all aspects of life, including the economy, media, and education. People were required to show loyalty to Kim Il-sung, and those who opposed his leadership were punished or sent to labor camps. Kim Il-sung remained in power for decades. He prepared his son, Kim Jong-il, to be his successor. His leadership shaped North Korea into a militarized, authoritarian state that prioritized loyalty to the ruling family above all else. Kim Il-sung died on July 8, 1994, at the age of 82. He was declared the eternal leader of North Korea, and his body was placed in a special mausoleum. His policies continue to influence North Korea today, and his legacy remains a central part of the country's ideology. Kim Il-sung, the first dictator. Kim Il-sung was born on April 15, 1912 in Manjeondae near Pyongyang.
He grew up during a time when Korea was under Japanese rule.
As a young man, he joined the fight against Japanese occupation. After World War II, Korea was divided, and Kim Il-sung became the leader of North Korea in 1948. Kim Il-sung established the Korean Workers' Party and built a government based on communist ideology. He created a personality cult where he was worshipped as the great leader. He built large statues of himself and forced people to show loyalty to him. He also implemented a planned economy where the government controlled all industries and farms. This system was supposed to make North Korea self-reliant, but it led to economic struggles and food shortages. In 1950, Kim Il-sung launched an invasion of South Korea, starting the Korean War. The war lasted 3 years and caused millions of deaths. In 1953, it ended with a ceasefire, but North and South Korea remained divided. The war helped Kim Il-sung consolidate his power and create a strong military state. After the war, Kim Il-sung focused on rebuilding North Korea. He introduced the idea of juche, or self-reliance, which became the guiding principle of North Korea. Under his rule, the government controlled all aspects of life, including the economy, media, and education. People were required to show loyalty to Kim Il-sung, and those who opposed his leadership were punished or sent to labor camps. Kim Il-sung remained in power for decades. He prepared his son, Kim Jong-il, to be his successor. His leadership shaped North Korea into a militarized, authoritarian state that prioritized loyalty to the ruling family above all else. Kim Il-sung died on July 8, 1994, at the age of 82. He was declared the eternal leader of North Korea, and his body was placed in a special mausoleum. His policies continue to influence North Korea today, and his legacy remains a central part of the country's ideology. Kim Jong-il, the second dictator. Kim Jong-il was born on February 16, 1941. Though North Korean sources claim he was born on Mount Paktu, a sacred site in Korean history. He was the son of Kim Il-sung, the founder of North Korea. From a young age, he was groomed to succeed his father, taking on important roles in the Workers' Party of Korea. In 1994, after the death of Kim Il-sung, Kim Jong-il officially became the leader of North Korea. His rule was marked by strict control over the country, economic difficulties, and an emphasis on military power. He introduced the Songun policy, meaning military first, which prioritized the military over other sectors of society. This policy strengthened the army but left the economy struggling. During Kim Jong-il's rule, North Korea experienced a severe famine in the 1990s. Many people suffered due to food shortages, and international aid was necessary to prevent a larger disaster. Despite these hardships, Kim Jong-il maintained a strong grip on power, using propaganda and strict government control to suppress opposition. He also developed North Korea's nuclear weapons program, which caused tensions with other countries. In 2006, North Korea conducted its first nuclear test, leading to international sanctions and isolation. Kim Jong-il ruled until his death in 2011. He was succeeded by his son, Kim Jong-un, who continues to lead North Korea today. Kim Jong-un, the current dictator. Kim Jong-un was born on January 8, 1984. Though North Korean sources have provided little confirmed information about his early life. He is the son of Kim Jong-il and the grandson of Kim Il-sung. After Kim Jong-il's death in 2011, Kim Jong-un became the supreme leader of North Korea. From the beginning of his rule, Kim Jong-un focused on strengthening North Korea's military power, especially its nuclear weapons program. Under his leadership, North Korea has conducted multiple nuclear tests and developed long-range missiles, capable of reaching other countries. These actions have led to increased tensions with the international community, especially the United States, South Korea, and Japan. Despite economic sanctions and international pressure, Kim Jong-un has maintained strict control over North Korea. His government continues to use propaganda and surveillance to suppress opposition. The country remains highly secretive, with limited access to foreign information. Kim Jong-un has also focused on modernizing Pyongyang, the capital of North Korea, with new buildings and infrastructure projects. However, economic challenges remain, especially due to sanctions and the COVID-19 pandemic, which further isolated the country. In recent years, Kim Jong-un has met with world leaders including U.S. presidents and South Korean officials to discuss North Korea's nuclear program. However, negotiations have not led to significant changes in North Korea's policies. As of today, Kim Jong-un continues to rule North Korea with strong control, emphasizing military strength and maintaining the legacy of his father and grandfather. I hope that North Korea will become a free country as soon as possible and that all its citizens will live happily.
Thank you for listening. Please subscribe this channel and enjoy learning English.